What role does trust play in your work?
I find that without trust, it's a waste of time to bring healing, reconciliation, to restore societies, relationships. Without real trust, nothing is happening because people are aware of many manipulations by each side or the different sides, and we just go on and on. Agenda against other agendas. So people immediately sense whether trust is possible. So I find that without trust, nothing worthwhile is possible. And I think, from my experience, I found that if I want nothing for myself in what I'm trying to do, I want what is right and what is best for all involved, where each of us will have to rise to a higher, honorable alternative for which we all have to change. Then trust becomes automatic.
So you say trust is very important in your work. How do you go about when there's a lack of trust within the community to restore the trust? How do you work on that?
Well, I think first, really examine very carefully the issues of conflict, the issues and the points on which there is a reaction against one another, distrust one another. And then, for me, if I want to take a part in it, be very clear where others are seeing in me or on my side what I don't see, because we never see ourselves as others see us. And so be genuinely honest about where my side, myself personally, or my family, my tribe, my village, my group have not done what we should have done or done what we shouldn't have done, which have made others to react. And be transparent enough to say, in this 1 or 2 points, I do not know about the others, I cannot say, but on 1 or 2 points, I am absolutely clear. It is me, my side, my village, my tribe, not you. We are wrong. That's why we have this conflict. The others, issues on which we are having conflict, I feel we both have made mistakes together. But if I start with the point where we, not you, are wrong in this particular conflict, the door is open to the other side. The other side say, well, we can respond because they know where they themselves are owning their share in what has gone wrong. I think that's how it starts. And then in my wider work, we have political factions fighting to take control of our people's crisis and struggle in order to gain power. When a solution comes, they have the bigger share. So that kind of motivation can take over. And so I've worked quite a bit trying to bring reconciliation among all Naga tribes in Northeast India. And when we launched what was called the Naga Reconciliation Commission, Naga Reconciliation Process, all the tribes were invited and they came from India and from Burma side. And the height of the high point of that day's reconciliation process launching was to read out a pledge together. The presidents or the representatives of the tribes, of all tribes, stood together and read out a pledge in which one of the points was, we, means my tribe, are prepared to go beyond seeing only where others have hurt us and to see where we too may have provoked them to hurt us, so that healing, forgiving and being forgiven will become possible. We found that became acceptable to all, because we say that we have blamed you for so long, but we realize that we have a share in the wrong we have done to us. So on that basis, we want to look at the problem together. I find that kind of complete transparency makes trust possible.
Can you give us an example of a before and after the trust building work you've done with the community?
In my village, we own a very beautiful virgin forest. We own part of it, big one. The other villages around it have their ownership of this very beautiful forest ecosystem, virgin forest, magnificent. Because of the political conflicts, our villagers started to denude the forest, cut down the trees, virgin forests that have grown for thousands of years, to be sent, logged away for the timber companies. And our village felt very concerned that we couldn't stop it, because the traditional voice, the resolution of the village elders to say do this or don't do that no longer was working. No trust, no mutual cooperation anymore. And so our village said we must look at what has gone wrong. And so a village commission was created representing all the clans, and I was the senior most member of the commission, 21 of us. And so we went into it and we identified the things that were wrong, that had to be solved, and there were 7, but the most difficult one was the killings that had taken place in my village over 2 or 3 decades because of political differences. And we made a very careful study, and we found there were 22 killings due to political differences. And because of those killings, which have been just pressed underneath and village trying to live peacefully above it, we found that no resolution could be obeyed together by the village. So we went into this, and we took about 10 years to resolve these killings, bring healing to these killings. And I think one point was where, for me, my uncle was the leader of the Naga people. His condemnation of his secretary, another very top leader of the Naga people, led to his killing in due course by my uncle's side, because his condemnation made this man made him to get out of the group. And I said that my uncle was morally responsible. He did not issue the order for his killing, but his condemnation led to his killings. And this is what the clan people of this man, this leader, felt most deeply. We know he didn't issue the order, but his condemnation, total condemnation, led to his killing. And therefore we expect moral responsibility from his side. Anyway, to make a long story short, after many years, the eldest man in my mother's clan, my uncle's clan, on behalf of my uncle who had died in London by then, in the exile, said, today I accept responsibility for what our leader, our uncle has done. His condemnation killed him. And I know that if I were in your position, I would have felt exactly the same that you have felt all these years. Please forgive him and forgive our clan, and if possible, ask God to bless us. Your blessing for us alone will complete the reconciliation. You know, that to me was one of the richest experiences of my life. It led to the other side coming saying that we have never heard of this, we have never expected to hear this from your clan. I must shake your hands. And that led to the resolution of all the other 18 killings. I'm making a very short, long story, but to my mind, that is an example of what happens when I am honest about where we are responsible for the wrong. We have our share in the wrong. We're not completely responsible, in conflict is like we're never completely responsible, all the wrong. But where we are responsible, the points, be specific and say we are wrong here, not you. It opens the way.